Good evening and welcome to this edition of ECISD Live. My name is Scott Muri and I'm the superintendent of Ector County Independent School District. We have quite a packed agenda for tonight. We want to start with kind of walking through some decisions that we made today as an organization and making sure that you as parents are familiar with all of this. And I have two very special guests that are going to join me tonight, and we're going to respond to your questions. We know that as parents in our community, you have lots of questions about what's happening with your school system and specifically what's happening with your own child and what those opportunities may be. So we'll be happy to address those questions tonight. But we want to start with a decision that we made today. And before we get to that decision, I want to talk about the why. And I'm going to share my screen with you. And we're going to take a quick look at the website for the Ector County Health Department. And one of the reasons that we make decisions as an organization is we use a lot of data to drive the decisions that we make. Specifically, we use data about children to help inform the decisions we make about teaching and learning. We use data about our community to help us make decisions about schools and the operations of our organization. But in this situation of COVID-19, we use medical data, health department data, to inform the decisions that we make as an organization. And tonight I want to take just a moment to show you three very specific pieces of data that we use to make decisions as an organization. And again, this is on the Ector County Health Department website. It is accessible by all members of the public, so you can visit that website. You can see the address at the top of your screen. The first bit of data that we look at is something called the positivity rate, and you'll see that the current positivity rate in Ector County is 19.6%. What that means is that of all the tests that have been given, the COVID-19 tests, 19.6% of those tests have received a positive result, indicating that those individuals have been tested positive for COVID-19. And that's a very high rate. We would like for that rate to be lower than 10%, but right now it's at 19.6. So that's pretty informative to our district, and it gives us a bit of concern as we think about bringing students and staff members back to our campuses. The second bit of data that we look at on the website is the number of individuals that are currently hospitalized. We have two large hospitals in Ector County, and we want to make sure that those hospitals have enough capacity to take care of the medical needs of our entire community. And right now, you'll see that there are 39 COVID-19 patients in our two hospitals. And that number has been decreasing over the last several days, and that's good news. And so we have seen, in fact, just a few days ago, that number was over 50. And today you can see it's at 39. This data changes Monday through Friday. By 5:30 each evening, the health department updates this information. And so you can see that as of today, we're at 39 cases. And again, that number has been declining, and that's good news for us. The final data point is on this particular slide, and you can see it is the epidemiological curve of COVID-19. Simply put, this is the number of cases in Ector County of individuals that have tested positive each day. So you can see when we look at today at the very bottom, there's a really tiny bar at the bottom, and that bar indicates that very few people tested positive in Ector County today. Following the white line, and you can look at historically, that white line indicates that we've had some pretty significant numbers of individuals that have tested positive for COVID-19. And then we transition all the way back to the end of March. You can see that we had very few individuals testing positive. So these are the three measures that we look at. Again, the first one is the positivity rate. That's simply the percentage of individuals that are testing positive for COVID-19. The second one is the number of individuals that have COVID-19 that are in our hospitals. And this third indicator, again, is the number of individuals that test on a daily basis to test positive for COVID-19. These data, the last one, as you can see, is also trending in the right direction. Fewer and fewer people have been testing positive for COVID-19. So that's good news for us. But the one that continues to give us pause is the positivity rate. That is still very high. But because of these three data elements, as we look together, these data elements have forced us to make a decision about when and how we're bringing our students back to campus. And so tonight, I want to share with you our adjusted phasing opportunity. So next Wednesday is August 12th, and that is the first day of school for every single child in ECISD. So once again, I want to stress that point. Next Wednesday, August 12th, is the first day of school, as you can see, for every single child in ECISD. However, only a few of our children will actually be attending school on that first day. The majority of our kids will be experiencing their first day of school in a virtual environment. Phase 1 starts next Wednesday. And so the group of kids that will be attending school on Wednesday would be those students with no internet access in their homes. So we have students in ECISD that currently do not have internet access. Those students will have the opportunity to attend school next Wednesday. Our special education students and parents, those of you with special ed children, you need to be in contact with your special ed teacher to understand if your child needs to attend. Some of you may choose to have your special ed students attend school with their phase-in process. If they're a third grader, you might have those children wait and phase in with their third grade class, but that's up to you. And so again, special ed parents, I encourage you to reach out to your special ed teacher to make an informed decision about when. But all special ed kids have an opportunity to join us on August 12th in a face-to-face environment. You'll see 3-year-olds. We have a few 3-year-olds at 2 of our education centers, Carver and Lamar, and those 3-year-old kids have a chance to join us on that first day. And finally, the children of our ECISD employees will be joining us on the first day. And the reason for that is our employees need to be able to take care of your children. And in order for them to do that effectively, we've got to make sure that we're taking care of their children as an organization. Those are the groups of students that will be able to attend school on August 12th. All other children will be attending school in a remote environment. The change that you're going to see is in phase 2, and I'll draw your attention to the bottom of the screen that says the new date for phase-in for our phase-in 2 is Wednesday, August the 22nd. You can see that it was scheduled for the 18th, but now it's the 22nd. The reason we've had to make this change is because of the current health conditions in our community. The COVID-19 situation in Ector County is still too unsafe for us to bring all of our students back. And so we're going to need to phase in those students over a longer period of time. The hope is that by August 26th, our community is in much better shape. And then we can continue with phase 3 on September 1st. And finally, phase 4 on September 8th. Phase 4 is when every student who wishes to return to school will have that ability to do so. So let me back up. Again, next Wednesday, August the 12th, every single child begins school. Most of our kids start virtually. Some of our kids will start face-to-face, and you can see those kids on your screen. No internet access, children of employees, special ed students, and 3-year-olds. All of those groups of students may begin face-to-face instruction next Wednesday. And again, phase 2, you can see pre-K through 2nd grade. Zavala and Peace, Noel and Travis have some exceptions in there. All 6th graders, all 9th graders, and then the rest of our students will enter in phase 3. And then finally, all students will enter in phase 4. All of this is posted on the ECISD website. If you want to visit our website, again, you can find all this updated information. Next Wednesday, August 12th, again, everybody starts, but I will say this. The first question that we've already had is, will the phases be extended again? The answer to that rests in our medical information. So next Wednesday, not only is it the first day of school, but we will also on that day be looking at the medical information in our community. And if those 3 metrics are still high, then there is a possibility that we could extend phase 1 beyond just 2 weeks. And so moms and dads, if you have kids in phase 2, 3, and 4, I would anticipate that there is a potential that those phases may start later than what we're now projecting. And that simply is going to be driven by the medical information. As a parent, if you want to stay informed, I encourage you to visit the Ector County website, the Ector County Health Department website, and you can monitor those health metrics on your own. Again, that data is available every single day, 24/7, 365, 5 days a week. The health department updates that information with the latest. So every day, Monday through Friday by 5:30, that information is updated, and we appreciate our health department for keeping our community informed about this medical situation. So once again, for all of our families, phase 1 has been extended to a 2-week period of time, and then phase 2 will now begin on August 22nd or 26th, with the exception that this could be extended even further if the health guidance determines that to be the case. All right. Other information, registration. Moms and dads, if you have not yet registered your child for school, it is critically important that you do that. Our kids, we need you to be, we need all of our kids to be registered for school. We need to make sure that children are ready to attend school. We need to make sure that we have that information so that our principals and teachers can make plans. And we do not know whether your children are attending school unless they are registered. So again, I encourage you to make sure if you haven't yet registered your child for school, that you please take time to do so. And registration for school is different from the selections that you made for online, hybrid, and face-to-face learning. Those are two different processes. And so again, the registration process is something we do every single year. So if you have yet to register your child, please make sure you do that. If you need to know how, you can visit the ECISD website. In fact, you could hop online right now and register your child for school. If you need to do that face-to-face, you can visit your child's school Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we would gladly receive you during those hours and get your child registered for school. So one of those two methods, we'd be glad to take care of you. And finally, before I introduce our guests and respond to questions, I want to provide a reminder to all of our families and really ask for a little bit of your grace. So the phasing situation that we shared with you tonight, we first talked to our leaders about that yesterday. And so every principal in ECISD, as well as every leader, was informed of this change yesterday because we looked at the latest health information. And then today, just this morning, we informed our teachers and other employees about this situation. And then this afternoon, we informed you as parents. That's how quickly information is changing in our organization. And some of you are seeking very specific information about your own children. You want to know your child's bus schedule. You would like to know the name of your child's teacher. You would like, and the list goes on. And we understand all of those needs that you have as parents. The challenge that our schools are all facing is the information that our schools have continues to change on a daily basis. And again, I lift up this phasing information. That changed for our principals yesterday. And so today, they began to have those conversations with their staff, and it once again changed the plans that they had put in place. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 situation has created these changes for all of us. And right now, as we share this information with you as parents, we know that we've created, and for some of you, a very difficult situation in regards to what you're going to do with your children for now a longer period of time. And I apologize for that, but we must make sure that our schools are safe. We must make sure that COVID-19 stays out of our schools, it stays away from our children, that it stays away from our staff members. And the only way we can do that is by limiting the number of students, again, based upon current health data. So we ask for your grace for our school staff, our teachers and principals, as they continue to make changes on a daily basis as they receive new information. And then we also understand that this is stressful for you as well. And so we will certainly give you grace and understand the stress that you're going through as a family because these decisions continue to evolve and change over time. And as I've said to our own staff, we will take this journey in COVID-19 together. We'll understand your frustrations, and we ask that you understand our frustrations. But together, we will overcome this virus, and we will overcome this situation. Our goal is to bring every single child back to school, because we know that for the vast majority of our kids, that face-to-face time that a child has with a teacher is priceless. And we want to get every child back as quickly as we possibly can, but we've got to make sure that our children and staff members are as safe as they can possibly be. And so we are balancing safety and education right now, and safety always has to win over any other need. And so we will always ensure that our teachers, our administrators, our support staff members, and your child, your children, will make sure that they're always safe in our environment. with that, I want to shift to questions. And before we get questions, I've got two experts joining me tonight. So I want to take a minute to introduce those experts. You'll see on the screen in just a minute. First, Alicia Press. Alicia Press is one of the executive directors for leadership in ECISD. So Alicia, thanks for joining us tonight and welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Muri. It's such an honor to be here today.
Good. So tell us a little bit about you. Who is Alicia Press for those that don't know you?
Well, I'm a longtime ECISD employee. I've served the district in the capacity of teacher, assistant principal, and now executive director of leadership. I know that's a big title, but ultimately my role is to provide support and supervision for campus principals.
Good deal. So thank you. And it sounds like you have quite a bit of experience with ECISD from teacher to central office employees. So a wealth of knowledge. Good. In addition to Alicia tonight, we are also joined by Robert Cedillo. Mr. Cedillo shares the same title as Alicia, but he serves a different group of or a different group of schools. So welcome, Mr. Cedillo. It's nice to have you with us tonight. So Robert, tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you, Dr. Muri. And my experience in ECISD hasn't been as long as Alicia, Ms. Press. However, I've been here for about a little over a year and a half. I've been a teacher, coach, assistant principal, associate principal, campus principal, and some experience in HR. Currently supervising and supporting schools in my current role.
Good, good, good. So we keep both of you busy. And right now, I'm sure both of you have been incredibly busy supporting schools as their world continues to change. I want to jump into questions. And the first one deals with details, some of the details that parents are asking. And so, Alicia, I'm going to come to you with this one. And it is about, from a parent, when am I going to know my child's schedule? When am I going to know my child's teacher? I already know that information from the past. I usually have that by now. So what's happening in our schools? When will parents have some idea of what a schedule is going to look like and who their teachers may be?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so ultimately, because of the ever-changing world that we're living in right now, those schedules will not be completely finalized until the day before school starts, so August 11th. So by Tuesday, you should have a personal phone call from the school to let you know exactly which phase you're in, how to get computers if you need to, how to access your child's schedule. But on the 11th, everyone's specific schedule will be loaded in Parent Portal, which is the same place that you registered. So you'll be able to find your child's exact schedule there by the 11th at the latest. Good, good, good.
And that's really late.
Yes.
Normally, parents have that information right now. And so talk about the why for a minute. Why so late, Alicia?
Well, the information is coming out a little bit late for a number of reasons. First, everything is really changing. And so because we have to live in this world of flexibility, we have to make sure that we're not sending you 15 different schedules. We want to send you a schedule that we know you can turn around and implement and have for the next day without getting 15 different revisions. So we want to make sure that the information that we get to you is right. In addition, we also want to make sure that the phone call that you get is from the person that's actually going to be teaching your child. And so it's important that you can have that conversation with your specific teacher. So we want to make sure that even though it's late, it will be right.
Good. And that's important. We don't want to communicate bad information to our parents. So I appreciate the simple fact that we want information to be right and accurate for mom and dad. Robert, I want this one to come to you. And this is another, again, logistical question, start times. When am I going to know as a parent, when my child starts school and what time school gets out? When will they have that information?
Well, that information has been shared already, which is on our website.
Okay.
You can go to our ECISD website to get that information. If you're elementary, middle, or high school, that information is on our website.
So it's there now. So moms and dads, that information is available on the ECISD website. You can find that information out now. There may be some, probably especially at high school, Robert, will there be some, I know that the high school schedules are kind of interesting. There's some things happening before the day and after the day. You want to talk a little bit about the high school environment?
Yes, sir. So our high school schedule start time our official start time is 9:20 to 4:40. However, we do understand that's a little later than when we're accustomed to starting. However, within that baseline, that schedule, there are opportunities to start earlier, other opportunities to go later in the day, depending on the student's needs. And the school will actually be open about 8:30, 8:25 for students that need access to a learning lab to complete some assignments or get some additional support. But there are opportunities outside that 9:20 to 4:40 start in time.
Good. And so individual students, once they see their schedule, they can kind of understand how that variance may occur. So maybe a little bit earlier or a little bit later for some of our kids, depending upon their final schedule. Alicia, coming back to you, and this is, so I'm a parent and I didn't meet the deadline on Sunday night to make the decision about remote or hybrid or face-to-face for my child. So what do I do now? I've now decided, how do I communicate that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if parents would contact the school office will be able to get students plugged in, get them in the right place, get them in the right learning path. And so a simple phone call to the office should take care of it. But in addition, all of our schools will also be calling you as long as you are registered for school. So that registration piece is absolutely critical. So if you are at the very least registered, we'll make sure you can still get into the right learning path.
Good, good, good. All right. So contact your school. And we want, I think, we want every child to be in the right learning pathway for them. So schools have to have that information. And it's also a part of planning. It's difficult for us to plan if we don't have that information. And so it's pretty critical that parents share that as soon as they can. Good. All right. Robert, coming back to you, and there's a lot of chatter about devices. One of the exciting opportunities that we've been able to create for our kids is that we've made some significant technology purchases, and we're going to be able to provide all of our kids with a device, those kids that need them. Not every child may want a device. Some kids have their own, but for those kids that need a device, we're going to be able to provide that. So how does a parent or a child pick up their device? What does that look like in our system?
So some schools have begun distribution of devices starting today. If you did not hear from your school at this point, that you will be hearing from your school in the next week or so. But yeah, that's basically the school will be contacting parents to distribute, to let them know the schedule of the distribution of the Chromebooks or iPads. But yeah, I want to add to that, Dr. Muri. If parents are in need or their student is in need of a electronic device, to please utilize our resources.
Yep. So that could be different for every school. There isn't one date that the district has set for device distribution. It varies from school to school.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So, and if as a parent, if you want to know that, it's contact your school, or actually the schools are going to contact you. So you can simply wait for that. I know some schools actually started that process today of actually distributing devices. And for the rest of our schools, we hope that'll be finished by August 12th, so by the first day of school. So parents, you should be hearing from your school about what that looks like. Well, in addition, internet access. And so Alicia, I'll go to you with this. In addition to providing devices, some of our families may not have access to broadband in their home. And we now have an opportunity for those families as well. You want to talk about that exciting opportunity?
Yeah, it really is exciting because it's going to provide a lot of opportunities to the kids in ECISD. And so right now, if any family goes to the ECISD website, we have a back to school webpage. And on that webpage there's a big button on the right-hand side that says broadband connection or internet connection. And so if you click that, there's an online application that allows you to apply for broadband access in your home. And so if you are a qualifying family, ECISD will take care of that for you so that your student has the ability to learn at home.
Good. And that's a great thing. We recognize that some of our children do not have broadband in their home. Unfortunately, not everybody lives in an area that is served by broadband. So you first have to live in an area of Ector County that has broadband. And if you don't currently have it, then that's something that we'll provide for you, again, if you meet that criteria. So good. Exciting news for families and kids. Not only the technology device, but the broadband to go with it. So that's a good thing. The question about changing. And so Alicia, I'll stay with you on this one. So a parent has change their mind? Or maybe I should ask, when can a parent make a decision? I've now changed my mind. When is the next opportunity for me as a parent to move from remote to face-to-face?
Sure. So one of the things that was in the original survey was that once you made a decision, you had to stay with your decision for the entire first grading period. Now, if a family wishes to go from face-to-face to remote, they're welcome to contact the campus and see if we can make that change. But in general, the rule of thumb is going to be that any change requests need to be made 1 week before the end of the first grading period. And so for elementary schools, that change opportunity, the deadline for it is September the 11th, and for secondary, it's September the 11th, and for elementary, it's October 16th will be the first time.
Okay, so the end of those grading periods, if you change your mind as a parent, and kids may change their mind too, they may have chosen remote and they see some of their kids attending school or their friends and they decide they want the face-to-face. But at the end of each grading period, will we notify families about that, or will they just have to keep track? Do you know that process yet?
I do know that process. There will be a form that's available on the website. Those get submitted to the campuses so that the campus has written documentation of the parents' desires. So that will be available online immediately.
Good. Hey, Mr. Cedillo, back to you. So today you were out visiting schools and watching things in action. So tell me some of your thoughts today as you saw our teachers and principals hard at work today. What are some of your takeaways?
A couple of my takeaways, I observed principals speaking to their staff, building confidence with their teachers. I was at one middle school campus, and one of the principals was so grateful that all her teachers crossed that threshold today to support our students starting August 12th. So, our teachers leaving their homes, being courageous and thinking about our students first as school starts, as we open our doors to our schools, to our students. So I thought that was very impactful to see our teachers actually walk into our schools and ready to welcome our students.
Good. I agree with you. Yeah, we had a family meeting this morning at 8:30 with the 4,200 employees of ECISD, and it was nice, as you said, that our folks are being courageous for their students, and they represented themselves en masse today. And I was asked a little earlier by a reporter, if you could grade ECISD, what kind of grade would you give your school district? And I actually said today I would grade our staff an A+, because today the staff members in ECISD showed up en masse for your students. And so I commend our employees for being very present and very engaged to make sure that the school year is going to be well prepared for your kids when they return. Alicia, I'm coming to you for the same question. You were out and about today visiting campuses and talking with folks. What are some of your takeaways from today?
Yeah, I was out and about all day, and it was so wonderful. And so if I had to describe today in 2 words, I would say that the feeling or the atmosphere at the school was cautious and joyous. And so the reason why I say cautious is because to some degree, teachers were really walking into the unknown. School looks completely different than the way that they left it. And so they were cautious about the new expectations they were going to have and the new safety protocols, because they wanted to feel safe so that they could create a safe environment for their kids. And I think it was wise of them. And so on the flip side of that, it was also extremely joyous. It was so wonderful to walk into school and there to be life in those buildings again, and smiling and waving and just joy abound. So it was a great experience today.
Yeah, good. It was a lot of fun. The first day of school is a lot of fun. So first day of school for us was the first day of school for staff. It is always a fun and exciting experience. Even in this COVID-19 world, there's a lot of energy in ECISD schools, and that's pretty exciting. All right, back to some questions. Ms. Press, this one's coming to you. And this is about special ed. And so we've said that special ed children on August 12th have the ability to return, but if the parent asks, well, I'm not sure if my special ed child should return or not, what advice would you give to that parent?
Sure. So first and foremost, if you need to know immediately so that you can make plans, please contact your campus. And because all of our staff is back now, you will get a response very quickly about your specific child, whether or not they are able to begin face-to-face on Wednesday. If you have a little bit more time, you will actually hear from your case manager, and your case manager is the special education teacher. And so not only will you hear from the general education teacher, you'll also hear from the special education teacher to make sure that your child's taken care of. So either route is perfectly appropriate. You're welcome to call. If not, you will definitely get a phone call before Wednesday.
Good. All right. Great advice. I'm going to bring up the phasing again. We have had a couple of questions about phasing. And so if we can, let's see, I'm going to share this screen. All right. There we go. So the question is really about, again, the first day of school and who comes to school on August 12th. And so I'll try to walk through this slide again. And Alicia and Robert, I'll ask you to help if there are words that you feel would help parents better understand. So next Wednesday, August the 12th, ECISD starts school for every single child. So every child in our system begins school on August 12th, and there are no exceptions to that. Most of our students, however, are going to be starting school virtually. They will not be coming to a physical building, so their school day will start virtually. The only children that can physically attend school on August 12th are the following, and you see them in the groups. So kids that do not have internet access in their home. So if your family does not have internet access in your house, you do not have Wi-Fi, you do not have cell service, you do not have broadband, but there is no internet access in your home, your child may come to school on Wednesday, August the 12th. Special education children. So moms and dads, if you have special ed children, and you need to have a discussion with your special ed teacher to make a decision as to what is best for your child on August 12th. But all special ed children do have the ability to attend school on August 12th. But that really needs to be a conversation between the special ed teacher and the parent, just to make sure it's the right decision to make for your child. All 3-year-olds may attend school physically on August 12th. So every 3-year-old, and we only have 2 schools that support 3-year-old students, Lamar and Carver. So those are the only 2 locations. So all of their 3-year-olds may come to school. And lastly, the employees of our children who are pre-K through 8th grade. So all employed children that are from that are the grade levels of pre-K through 8th grade, those students may also attend face-to-face on August 12th. If your children are not in those categories, then they will be having their first day of school in a remote learning environment. Alicia and Robert, there's still some confusion about who attends school. Is there anything that you could add to that that might clarify this for some of our parents?
I think the only thing is just if you have very specific questions for your campus, please feel free to reach out at any time. As of this week, all of our offices are open and available from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. So you should be able to get through and get your questions answered. Great advice.
So if you are still uncertain as a parent, contact your child's school. Contact your child's school. Robert, anything that you would add to that?
No, I mean, the only thing I would add is if you do have internet access and you're thinking, well, how am I going to get school started? Well, how's my son or daughter going to start school if they're remote and no way to really check in with the teacher of the school? I would encourage you to check your Google account. Each student in ECISD has a Google email account. So as we approach school, check your Google email account on a consistent basis. So your student will get additional information, links, possibly see their schedule, also parent portal as well. Continue to check those on a consistent basis.
Yeah, good. So those regular communications with your school, again, parents, good advice. Again, and all of that involves the regular communication mechanisms that your child has access to, as well as, just as Alicia said, calling the school to get more information. And then I'm going to go back to the phasing. Phase 2, again, for everybody, that the announcement tonight is really where phase 2 now begins on Wednesday, August the 26th, with a reminder that next Wednesday, on August 12th, we will be revisiting our health data to see if indeed we need to extend that for even longer period of time. And I'll remind all of us, what can we do to make sure that we don't have to extend it? What we do are the 3 things: wear a mask, social distance, and make sure you keep your hands clean. Those are the 3 things that all of us, every member of our community, must do so that we can bring our kids back to school as quickly as we possibly can. So parents, get on the phone, talk to your relatives, your friends, your neighbors, make sure that everybody that you come in contact with is following the rules so that we can hold on to that August 26th date to bring in phase 2. And then phase 3, September 1st, and then finally September 8th. And if you have any questions as a parent as to when your child comes to school, you may contact your child's school directly, and they can certainly let you know that information. All right. I go back to some questions. I know we have more coming in. All right, let's see. I'll kind of take this one. This one is about the positivity rate. So if the positivity rate is currently at 19%, which is high, and you're still not doing remote only, what percentage will trigger the closure of all campuses? So interesting question. And there are some TEA guidance and some state law involved here. First of all, ECISD can only go completely remote if we are ordered to do so by the governor of the state of Texas or by the county judge. Those are the only 2 individuals that have the authority to require us to go completely virtual. And that would be because of the health conditions in our own community. We cannot make that decision locally, and the reason that we can't is because we have children in ECISD that do not have internet access in their home. And TEA will not allow us to be completely virtual if we have even one child that doesn't have internet access in their home. And we actually have, many children without internet access. And because we have kids without that access, we must allow those children to come to school. And if you go back to our phase 1 document, you will see that the very first group of kids that we bring back are those kids that do not have internet access in their home. Again, the law requires us to do that. That is the only way that we can be open. If we did not allow those kids to come, then we would actually have to be closed for every student, and we would serve no student either virtually or face-to-face. And so we're acting upon guidance from the Texas Education Agency and the laws in the state of Texas. But yes, I do agree with the question. The positivity rate is high. That is why we are taking significant safety protocols to make sure that not only your students, but our staff members are safe when they're on campus. Alicia and Robert, I'm going to go to you again with some safety questions. So both of you were out and about today, and you saw and probably heard some of the things that we're doing from a safety perspective. And start with you, Robert. What did you see today, or what did you hear today from a safety perspective that would assure our parents that their kids will be safe once they do physically attend school?
So I saw our staff members, all staff members, wearing a mask. When principals, as you know, today was the first day teachers were back, so principals were meeting with their teachers either through a virtual setting or a large auditorium, and the teachers were spread out. But they were very cautious about wearing their mask, ensuring they were wearing their mask, and also keeping their distance.
Good. Alicia, you were out and about today too. Safety, what did you see today?
Yeah, I'd echo what Mr. Cedillo said about the masks. I encountered 100% of our staff in masks today, so that was great to see. In addition, I also got to be part of just a distribution at Bowie where they were passing out all kinds of disinfectant, teaching the staff how to use it. Also, it felt like thousands of bottles of hand sanitizer so that it could go inside every single classroom. And so it was reassuring to me as a parent of students in ECISD to see that all of that was just something that was taken care of day one, so that they're available inside the classrooms and ready for students.
Good, and that's great. And again, some of those data points I think are interesting. We now are the proud owners of 1.3 million masks. As a superintendent, I never thought I would say I own 1.3 million masks, but we do. And clearly you all saw some of those being delivered today. In addition to that, we have thousands of gallons of hand sanitizer, we have gloves, we have gowns, we have face shields, and the list goes on and on and on. So a lot of pieces in place. And I do believe that, have all of our schools been sprayed now with the disinfectant from Germ Blast? Has that process been finished? Do either of you know?
To my knowledge, it's complete.
Okay, yeah. And so, in fact, on the ECISD website, you can find a video that was done in ECISD. It shows the Germ Blast treatment that we've done at every school in ECISD. And you find that as a parent, you'll find that interesting and also comforting to see the kind of care that we put in place to make sure that your children and our staff members are safe every single day. Let's see, a question. Let me come to you with this one, Alicia. With remote learning, will instruction be the lessons the teacher and her team members have created, or more of the district level instruction? So talk to me about what teaching and learning looks like for third graders or elementary kids this year.
Sure. The question specifically regarded the district level lessons. And so I do want to share that the district did create exemplar lessons for the teachers, but just for a few days to get them started. And then from there, the teachers really are going to run with their own style, their own system for that lesson delivery. Those will not be created at the district level this school year. They will be done by individual teachers. Good.
All right. And a question about 504. Robert, this one's coming to you. So a parent who has a child with a 504 plan, do we count them with special ed kids during phase one, or is there another time that those 504 kids would come to school?
Yes, we do count them in the same category as receiving special services.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We do recommend them contact their school to set the educational setting for them for the first phase that they're in.
Absolutely. So those parents should reach out to their 501 coordinator to find out really what is best for the child. And I will also say that these are not requirements for those children. Just because we have said special ed kids in phase one doesn't necessarily mean, as a parent, that you have to send your special ed child in phase one. You need to have that conversation with your child's teacher. You've got to feel comfortable enough that it's appropriate. The phasing simply, your child is allowed to attend school during those phases. But if you choose a different option, you can certainly exercise your freedom to do that and start school when everyone else does. Those choices are yours to make as parents. All right. We've had a lot of really good questions tonight, but I think I'm going to let the two of you off the hook right now. So final words of wisdom for moms and dads that are out there tonight. Mr. Cedillo, we'll start with you. You have children of your own, and I think you certainly understand the nerves that our parents may be feeling. So any words of wisdom for moms and dads that are listening tonight?
The few things I would say is our principals have been working diligently, breaking down numbers, looking at student scenarios, trying to figure out the best way to keep our students safe, not only safe, but also to ensure that they're going to be learning this year. So please be confident in our principals and allow us some time to work through some of the challenges that we have on August 12th.
Are you saying that we won't be perfect on August 12th?
We won't be perfect, sir.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we won't be perfect. And so we ask, I think that to your point, we ask for grace. This is new for all of us. Everything we're doing is new this year. And I can assure you that August 13th will be better than August 12th. Our commitment to our community is to get better each and every day. Alicia, to you. So you also are a mom with kids in ECISD. And so words of wisdom or words of comfort that you would give to our parents tonight.
Yeah, so school and education is like a three-legged stool. And so the student, the families, and the schools really have to work in tandem to provide a really quality experience for the kids. And so mom and dad, I know that you're really nervous about what your role is with this. And so if you have registered, if you have made sure that your phone number is up to date with the school, and you have filled out the survey, then you have done your part in making sure that your kid's set. From there, we are going to take care of the rest. You're going to receive phone calls. You'll hear from teachers. And I promise you that we're going to make it a great experience for your child. So thank you for doing your part. We do promise to do ours, and we're going to take care of your kids. I saw it. I saw thousands of happy, excited, cautious, ready teachers to see your kids and welcome them back on the 12th, either virtually or face-to-face.
Yep. Good words of wisdom. So thank you both. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Alicia, for joining us tonight. And I also want to give a shout out to teachers. It's interesting in our chat, we have a lot of teachers that are also parents, but just teachers that watch us in ECISD Live. And as you look at the chat streams, you see our teachers really feeding in and addressing some of the questions and concerns that our parents have. So thank you, teachers and employees that are feeding into our chat session tonight to also reassure parents that their kids are going to be in good hands with us as we start school. Tomorrow night, we are on PBS. So PBS, our local base in PBS, is hosting a session tomorrow night featuring not only ECISD, but Midland ISD and Big Spring ISD. The three local independent school districts will be featured tomorrow night on base in PBS. That starts at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow evening, we'll be talking about each of our plans that we are sharing and then responding to questions from our community. So I encourage you to join us tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And then next week, we'll be back with another edition of ECISD Live. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you once again, Robert and Alicia, for your time tonight. And thank you for the work that you do to support the schools at ECISD. I hope everyone has a good night and a good week.